here's a story about back pain and poop. So when I was an acupuncture student, we talk a lot as acupuncturists about, we inquire about bowel movements because bowel movements are really important. And the suggestion was an illustration of how important it is to be specific and to ask a lot of questions in that direction. So the story was that there was a man that came in for treatment and he had severe back pain. And of course, when we do the intake questions, we ask, like, how are the bowel movements? And according to this man, his bowel movements were normal. And so he was looking into, trying to figure out this back pain. This man had been suffering for quite a long time, pretty severe back pain. And he even had an x-ray that he brought in. Well, I can say that as acupuncturists, we're not trained to read x-rays, but the practitioner was like, well, more information can't hurt. And so he looked at the x-rays, not necessarily knowing what to look for. But what he did notice is that the large intestine was very, very full, which led him to ask more about this man's poop. And the man, again, reiterated that his bowel movements were normal. And so he's like, well, what is normal? And he's like, well, I go about once a month. And what I can say is the recommendation is to go about once a day or twice a day, but certainly at least every other day. And ideally, more regularly, more often. Once a day is good, twice a day possibly. So that led to the question of, well, thinking back to the back pain, is your back pain better or worse before your bowel movement once a month? And he's like, actually, come to think about it, it's a lot better right after I go. Okay. So, and he's like, and actually it's maybe the worst it ever is before I go. And this poor fellow, he had been to all the doctors. In fact, he came to the acupuncturist as sort of a last resort because the doctor was talking about exploratory surgery. Like, they couldn't find anything wrong. And so they just wanted to open him back up and see if they could find anything. Well, essentially what happened was the acupuncturist got him pooping regularly and explained the importance of poop. And guess what? The back pain went away. It was back pain because of a very congested large intestine pushing on the spine and causing back pain. So regularity is key and important. Have you noticed any correlation with potentially being constipated and having back pain? How are your bowels? Let me know if you have any stories you would like to share.